Okay, and we got Mike. Great. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Kindred Spirits. I'm Dr. Artemis Preeshl, and we'll be talking today about Allyship 101. I'd like to begin with the land acknowledgement of Adams State University. We, the Adams State University community, gratefully acknowledge the indigenous peoples on whose ancestral lands we gather. They include the Utes, the Jicarilla Apaches, Comanches, Kiowas, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Navajo Nation, Pueblos, and all other First Peoples who made their home in this valley. We honor the diverse communities that historically dwelled here and those who currently reside in the San Luis Valley. We know that honoring these lands is a reflective process that demands continued engagement and action. May we always remember the journey of the past peoples who called this valley home. I have asked Dr. Flo to give us this in Spanish.
Nosotros, la comunidad de Adams State University, reconocemos con gratitud a los pueblos indígenas en cuyas tierras ancestrales nos juntamos. Este hermoso Valle de San Luis es sagrado para diversas naciones indígenas que incluyen todos estos. Honoramos a la diversidad de comunidades que históricamente moraban aquí y que aquellos que hoy en día viven en el Valle de San Luis. Sabemos que honrar a las tierras es un proceso reflexivo que demanda un continuo compromiso y acción, sea que recordamos siempre el viaje de los antepasados que llamaron a este valle hogar. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Flo. So it is this process of reflection and continuous action that we are called to today. All right, so in our learning space, I'd like to offer several guidelines. So one, what is shared stays in the room. What is learned is shared with our community. What that means is if anyone discloses anything personal, that what you learn from it is something that can be shared. Always assume good intent. Speak from your lived experience, and also avoid generalization, homogenization. And by that, I mean that just because someone is from a particular culture, we can't assume that they are representative of that culture. So pay attention to those possibilities. And then also, by engaging in unfamiliar conversations, we discover the lived experiences of our colleagues, and we understand each other better. Now, are there any guidelines that anyone would like to add to this, to the room guidelines for today? Okay, so I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone today, because together we can grow. All right, today the workshop goals are to define ally, co-conspirator, and accomplice, and to recognize the inherent risks and rewards of allyship. And then finally, learning how to be an ally in our community. So, we will explore what is allyship, and the differences between ally, co-conspirator, and accomplice, and how to be an effective ally. Okay. So, what is allyship? Allyship is actions, behaviors, and practices that leaders take to support, amplify, and advocate for others, most especially with individuals who don't belong to the same social identities as yourself. And true allyship is available in every single interaction. So this is from the Center for Creative Leadership. So the role of an ally is really twofold. It is about reflecting on the power, privilege, and access available as a result to belonging to a particular identity group. And also to educate yourselves about the communities with whom you'd like to ally. So allies do not perform allyship by claiming to be committed to a cause and yet do nothing about it. And it is this call to action that I'm addressing today. So this is an interactive session. As you've noticed, perhaps on your table, you will find paper, you will find pencils and markers. All right, so there will be periodic moments where I will ask you to interact and to reflect. All right, so I've drawn these 4 stages from the Harvard Business Review. The first one is about energizing your psychological investment. So identifying social injustice, acknowledging suffering that unfairness causes, limiting performative allyship, and responding promptly with compassion to alleviate suffering. So we have reached our first activity. Okay, so within the groups at your table, I would like you to think about a couple things. All right, so to begin with, I'd like you to think about inequities that you have observed or encountered. Okay, so I'd like you to think about at least 3 within your table, and then I'd like one person to report back to the group. Okay, so take about 3 minutes or so to make a list of different inequities that you have observed, and then we'll share back. All right, take about another minute to wrap it up. Okay. All right, let's come on back. Now, sharing is completely voluntary, but I'd like to ask if anyone at any of the tables would like to share some of the inequities you've observed or experienced. If so, please raise your hand. I'll bring you the mic. Great, thank you.
So my group came up with pay and gender. With what? Pay and gender.
Pay and gender. All right, thank you. Great. Yes. All right, thanks.
All right, so our table came up with four. One, holding information. The second, limited experiences or opportunities. The third is a perceived ability. And our last, though not the last, is language fluency.
Great. Thank you. All right, anyone else like to contribute? Great.
I say that there's unfair pay out there for employers, and I think that we have an unfair justice system.
Thank you. Anyone else like to contribute? All right, we will continue on our journey. So this was stage one. All right, so let's look on to stage two. So stage two begins making strategies to impact allyship. Okay, and it involves the key values of humility and perspective taking. So the idea here is that it's motivating people to connect with communities. For example, the service day at La Puente last weekend. And then seeking out future knowledge about other people's lived experiences, and also people's perspectives, and putting them above your own. And then finally, to advocate publicly to promote marginalized groups. So in our next activity, I would like you to consider, and this is a self-reflection, think about a time when you helped someone in need. What was that need? What did you do? And what was the outcome? So this is a moment of self-reflection. All right, so take a couple minutes to think about that. You might write it down, and then I'll ask some people to share if you would like. Okay, so take a couple minutes, self-reflect. And if you want to talk about it in your groups, you're welcome to do that as well. All right, take another 30 seconds or so to wrap that up. All right, let's bring it back to the group. Would anyone like to share? Yes, great, thank you.
Mine was translating. We had a parent one time that didn't know where they needed to go, and it was during NSO, and the students and the parents split up for part of the NSO, and so I was able to take them to where they needed to be by translating for them. So.
All right, thank you, Jose. Great. Any other observations, experiences you'd like to share? Yes.
Some guy that got stranded in Welsenburg, and I was on my way to my house, and he just asked if I could take him to Denver because he was on his way to see his kid, but then like his driver had just gotten the DUI and they had just like mugged him in Welsenburg, and I just gave him a ride and I didn't get any outcome, but yeah, that was one time I helped him, so yeah, he was very thankful too. So yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Yeah. Would anyone else like to share? Yes.
I'm a work study at the Veterans Center here on campus, and I work with a lot of on-campus veterans as well as incarcerated veterans, so helping them get benefits and stuff.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else like to share? All right, let's move on. All right, so we're moving on to stage 3, and I would also like to mention we're beginning to move into multimodality. That means different modes of expression, all right? So I'm making some suggestions here, and you're welcome to take them or not as you like, but I encourage you to consider, especially if you're in a different major, you might want to express yourself in drawing, all right, or in moving in some way, all right, or different modes of vocalizing. All right, so we have stage 3, which is to take initiative to support and regulate your actions. So now we're moving from being aware of something into action. So that is transforming your learnings into action. Avoid taking on the white savior role. And instead of speaking for someone, ask, to what degree does that person want to be looked out for? Okay, so thinking about, does that person consent to your help? Do they want your help? Okay, but being sure to ask. So this is the next phase. All right, so what I'd like to do is have you move to different tables to interact with different people, since this is a diversity initiative. All right, so if you would like to simply get up and move to another table, I'm seeing some movement. Otherwise, we can count off. So I encourage you to go find another table and to interact with some other people. Take about a minute to reconfigure yourselves. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay. All right, see if you can add at least one person to your existing table or joining someone at another table. Okay, so in our next phase, we're talking about how we can better support community members. All right, so along this line, I'd like you to consider someone who hasn't spoken, perhaps be a spokesperson. Alternately, your group could sing a song, or tell a story, or act out, or dramatize what is happening in that particular situation. So the question is, how can you better support your community? Okay, and you can choose your mode of expression. You can also draw, because there's paper on the tables, and you might want to show a drawing instead. Okay. Hi, hi. Uh-huh. So take another minute or so. How can we better support our community? Hey, Jared. All right, take another 30 seconds. All right, so let's come on back. Okay, and who would like to share? Is there a table that would like to share? Yeah, awesome, thank you.
So how we can better support our communities is by, I think, just listening. Sometimes we offer help when we shouldn't. So just listening to people that walk into our spaces and into our workplaces.
Great. All right, thanks very much. Yes. Okay. I see you, Heidi. I'm going over here first.
All right, we went with the Pictionary approach, so I'm only showing 3 images to which you have to come up with the answers. So we know the answers, so this has to come from you. Okay, so the middle one is time. Space, yes, number 1 is space. Well, that's close. Don't be a shit.
Thank you.
I don't think I can follow that one, Margaret. Oh, okay. So this table had the idea of how Adams community could better support the San Luis Valley community members. So our community outward. And so we were thinking that 3 ways we could do this is by institutionalizing learning the history of the valley so that there's more appreciation, or I shouldn't say more, but it's widespread throughout our campus. Next, we thought it might be a good idea to develop like a community involvement scholarship. So some kind of incentive for students and folks to actually go out and volunteer in the community. And then following the homecoming day, but not, instead of just doing it one day, we institute like a community appreciation day in which we invite all of the San Luis Valley to the Adams and celebrate them through different kinds of activities.
Thank you very much. All right, good job. Who else would like to share? All right, well, I'm glad you're ready to take it to the next level. All right, so we're heading on to stage 4, which is long-term dedication. So this is about persevering with patience. So practice making bias conscious with perseverance. And then listening to feedback patiently. And then finally, keep moving forward to make positive change. So we are going to keep moving forward, and I invite you to a very interactive opportunity. All right, so within your new groups, or a group you happen to form, there's plenty of space in the back of the room, and I'd like to invite you to make a living sculpture that, that it demonstrates your perseverance. All right, so that is one option. Of course, we still have telling a story, enacting something, drawing a picture, and adding to that, we also have the possibility of writing a poem or dancing a dance. So whatever works for you in terms of your mode of expression, that'd be great. And I do hope some people try out the living sculpture. We have plenty of places in the room. The idea is that some people will make the living sculpture, others will watch, and then the others show their living sculptures to the other half of the room. That's my proposition, so off you go discussing and enacting your commitment to allyship. All right, so take about another minute. Great. All right. It looks like we have one living, moving sculpture back there. Perhaps we could look at that in the beginning. All right, so check out the back of the room. All right, give them a round of applause. you do your jump? I did do a jump. Would you do your jump? We had another movement I'd like to share with you. Woo! All right, thank you. All right. Yes.
If I speak, listen. If I ask, respond. And if I reach out, embrace.
Could you do that with a microphone?
Okay. If I speak, listen. If I ask, respond. If I reach out, embrace.
Great. Thank you. All right. Anyone else like to share?
Oh, it's a picture.
Oh, great. Great. Would one of you read the words on it?
Community, food, language, music.
All right. Thank you. Good job. Did I see one? Yes.
Ours is a haiku. Keep on the long road. Self-care is care of others. Show up every day.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Great. Anyone else like to share? Yeah.
All right. We decided that life skills are a community need. We are here to help indeed. Start planting the seed. Get some basic computer skills and be freed.
Thank you. Great. All right. Anyone else? All right. So I have some swag up here. All right, and they are participation opportunities, okay? Let's see. All right, so I will ask you about allyship, about being a co-conspirator or an accomplice. All right, so those words are interesting. So the idea behind those two words is really to emphasize the action as opposed to a noun that holds a position, and then also to communicate that commitment towards ongoing action to combat systemic injustice. So a co-conspirator takes an unapologetic action against racism and oppression, regardless of the consequences, to dismantle the system of white supremacy culture and the benefits they receive from that. So it is from the National Education Association. Now, how is that different than being an accomplice? All right, so an accomplice knowingly and voluntarily aids a person to commit an act. So this encourages, assists, and is complicit in actions with another to curb abuses. So the idea is the conspirator might be help planning something, but the accomplice actually does something. So there are inherent risks in that, and I think that it's a really interesting moment in time right now. I didn't plan this talk in relation to that, but I do think it's an interesting moment. All right, so now we have one more interaction exercise. So I would like you to consider scenarios in which you have observed any of these situations or another one that may occur to you. So students who repeatedly interrupt a female-identified person, a friend who you hear say a racial or ethnic slur in a conversation, a person afraid to walk home at night, a non-binary person who shared their pronouns and yet is continually misgendered, a person with hearing difficulties who is present and the speaker speaks softly without a microphone, hence my use of a microphone. All right, so you can choose one of these scenarios to discuss or another of your own making, all right, and then we can anonymize shares after this, and I'll let you know there's a little participation at the end that includes swag, so I hope you stay for that. All right, here we go. So take a few minutes to discuss one of these scenarios or another one. All right, take about another minute and then we'll share out. Okay. All right. All right, take another 30 seconds to wrap it up. All right, let's wrap it up. And who would like to share? Would anyone like to share? And if not, that's okay too. Yes.
So for us, it would be, well, we talked about number 3, a person who is afraid to walk home at night. And we've discussed giving rides to people to their home just so they're not uncomfortable or they're not unsafe. In addition, also just advocating for more better infrastructure on campus as well, getting more lights, better visual accessibility, especially from the main campus to East Campus where there's not a whole lot of light, and that kind of increases the amount of fear and lack of safety. So just being there to support.
Great. Thank you. Good. Would anyone else like to share? All right. So we are heading into the home stretch. All right. All right. So a couple questions. This is participation. All right. So anyone who wants to give an answer, you can come on up and take some swag. All right. So what is an ally? Yeah. What? Yeah. Yep. Come on up. Okay. Yep. Someone who can support. Yes. All right. And reaching out to other communities. So yeah. Thank you. Okay. Great. And what is a co-conspirator? Whatever you'd like. What is a co-conspirator? How is that different? What does it sound like? You're welcome. Co-conspirator, someone who plans an activity together to perhaps disrupt something. All right, how about an accomplice? How is that different from a co-conspirator? Action, who said that? I heard it, come on up. All right, great. All right. And ally, can you remember any of those? Ask, absolutely, who said that? Yep, come on up. What else can you do to be an effective ally? Support, come on up. All right, what else can you do? What? I heard something. I heard something. What was it? What did we do today? What are some of the things we did? What do we think about, talk about? What? All right, so we reflected. We thought about what our position was in relation to other people. What else did we think about? What did you talk about in your groups? Interaction? Support? How you could help someone who needed help? Yeah, showing up, step up. Absolutely. Anyone who threw out those answers, come on up. All right, anyone else? Any other thoughts about today? All right, well, bottom line is, together we can raise awareness about belonging, equity, and social identity. We can call out injustices, and we can call in allies to support the community. Thank you.
All right, Grizzlies, how are you feeling? Clap once if you can hear me. All right, well, first and foremost, please help me give Dr. Artemis Preeshl one more round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this was our first Kindred Spirits luncheon. We have an array of Kindred Spirits lineup. So please, please, please take these flyers from the table, post them in your areas. The other one that's on that is our calendar of events for the Office of Inclusive Excellence and the Equity Board. Please, please, please take those. We want to thank you for being here. We hope you enjoyed your meal. We will see you at our next Kindred Spirits, which is February 19th, where we will talk about Microaggressions, a culturally responsive approach by Dr. Artemis Preeshl and Melissa Romero. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed day.